The 6.5 is live here at Mobile World Congress 2024 in Barcelona. We're here in the IBM booth. Dan, what has the show been so far? It's been the network core, it's been the edge, it's been devices and everything in between, making it more intelligent with AI. There we go.
Did we say that together?
It's almost like we planned that.
I was thinking about a workout, like I ran and then I did core.
There we go.
And then I came here and talked about AI.
Yeah, but it's been amazing though, over the last 18 months, how much AI has been part of the conversation. And yes, the initial algorithms for AI were built in the 1960s. We had machine learning, deep learning, and now we're at this advent of generative AI.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's risen into the conscious of society. And now every technology event, but really every industry is being impacted by the power of AI. It's going to help make us more sustainable. It's going to help make us more productive. It's going to change the world. And of course, we've got a continuum of, governance and ethics and considerations and trust that we have to build, Pat. But look, here at this show, by the way, the show is back in full effect. I heard 95,000 people are going to be here. Look, it's an exciting year, and now we're going to see AI and telecommunications come together.
Yeah, so a great time to introduce our guest, Dan from IBM, Usman with AT&T. Great to have you on the 6.5. First timers.
To be here.
Yes, we hope it's not the last.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You can grade us at the end.
Well, it's interesting. First, Dan, you look great.
Yeah,
it's two Dans on the end.
Bald and
very
bearded.
brotherly. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think a couple years ago, or maybe it was about 2 years ago, Pat, you and I actually talked to AT&T and IBM on the 6.5 in this booth, two different guests, and we were talking about a 5G partnership. This year, so we kind of already hit on this rotation to AI, but here we are again. Dan, I'll start this one with you, but talk a little bit about what's going on in this partnership between AT&T, IBM, and I'm betting it's around AI.
Yeah, I mean, look, the partnership is multifaceted, and it's deep. I like to refer to it in kind of two venues. One is we have a 3-tiered partnership. We see tremendous value in AT&T as a company, and we are a buyer of AT&T's products as IBM. AT&T sees value in what we do as IBM and buys from us, and then we partner together, and that's a lot of where Usman and I work together, is around that partnership side. We work across AT&T's business, and the value, both from a product, technology, and consulting perspective of what IBM does for AT&T is extraordinarily important.
Usman?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as Dan indicated, this partnership is threefold. First of all, we bring our own competence together to see, how our organizations can take advantage of what we do. Secondly, collectively, we take our competencies and technology to our customers to see, how collectively we can benefit our customers with what we are doing. For instance, as an example, many of our business solutions, they run on IBM infrastructure. And many of our business applications, when it comes to the workload orchestration, we use Red Hat from IBM. But when it comes to IBM, they take advantage of our wireline, wireless, and edge compute and edge cloud capabilities, to offer their services to their customers. So it's a long-standing partnership. Not only this, but we have started to collaborate on many new venues, like Generative AI, which is one of them, and we look forward to it.
Yeah, it sounds like a very strategic, multifaceted relationship, which, by the way, IBM is very strategic and so is AT&T, so it makes perfect sense. So, loosely speaking, right, AI can help companies drive more revenue, help them on the cost side, making employees more efficient, more effective. But there's also capabilities on the network, and I'll ask you, Usman, what is your vision, or how do you see AI helping the network? I mean, AI and network is nothing new, but this flavor of generative AI is new. How do you see it improving the network?
Yeah, that's a great question. You see, as AT&T, our mission is to serve our customers and our partners at the same time, and to serve the community. And to do all this, we are building a very open, robust, advanced, and intelligent network. AT&T is the only global carrier, that is heavily investing into fiber and our wireless infrastructure. And on top of that, we are building all the advanced network capabilities that will govern and control the next generation technologies. For instance, generative AI.
Yeah.
So this is at AT&T where we are, and all these capabilities are part of our network today. For example, Ask AT&T. We're already using this capability into our network.
Sense. Yes.
Yeah. So, and to answer the second piece of your question is that what are those services, that will be delivered by our network? I would say, in next 5 years, it is expected that 70% of the data will be generative from the original 30% of the data sets. And that generative data will help us, to create new foundational models, and those foundational models will be consumed to create new products and services. For example, safety as a service, predictive performance as a service, or you can have quality as a service, or you can have product discovery as a service. So all this will be delivered through AT&T's next generation networks. Some of that we have already established, and we are consistently expanding, on the capabilities of the network.
I love it. And by the way, starting off with customer service is a very hardcore, impactful place where a lot of people are seeing success, and it is amazing. Chatbots were popularized about 5 or 6 years ago, but only now with this technology, I'll just say they're most effective now, and I've seen some really impressive results. That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, one of the consequences, though, of all this connectivity and all these connected devices is going to be massive data. We've talked about this for a long time. I feel like the big data problem, the big data opportunity has been a multi-decade long conversation. I think AI is making this exponential, and of course having so many connected devices is an opportunity. Dan, I'd love to get your take, but what do you think are some of the bigger opportunities, maybe the untapped ones that are going to come from all this explosion of connected devices and data, especially as it pertains to AI?
Yeah, and the data piece also has another requirement, which is the volume of data that's going to be applicable if you take connected vehicles or manufacturing as examples. The amount of storage that you're going to need to provide for that data, that's part of where IBM is able to bring in a unique point of view and capability. The connectivity to be able to access that storage, whether on the edge via 5G, 6G, that's where AT&T brings in phenomenal capabilities. And then of course, you get to the AI itself. In the case of automotive and manufacturing, image segmentation is critically important. And that's being able to look at it at a pixel level when you're in an autonomous vehicle, being able to understand what's a pedestrian, where are the lines in the road, what does that sign mean? In the case of manufacturing, we at IBM have a product around Maximo that specializes in the ability to identify defects using generative AI within the product set you can imagine in a supply chain before it goes out to the end customer. So those are some use cases that I would say we are just scratching the surface on. And where we will be 5 years from now, we could all guess on that. I don't know that any of us have the crystal ball, but we have a level of hypothesis about where we should be headed. And it starts with the simpler and very impactful use cases like care, but very quickly goes into these enterprise use cases, for example, the two I highlighted.
So there's a lot of industry use cases, verticals that telecommunications has become important in. I mean, particularly when you get there on the edge, I mean, energy, right? And having a sensor every few meters to be able to know exactly what's going on out there, to cars. I mean, cars today, and we actually track the technology in cars as an analyst firm, they're becoming incredible data creators, but also very reliant on data outside the car. We have electrification, we have autonomous, and quite frankly, you can see a scenario when a few years down the road, it becomes an extension of your living room or your office when you're not doing all the driving and you can do other things. AT&T has been very involved in automotive connectivity, and I'm curious, any thoughts on generative AI and connectivity in the car that you guys are working on?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me give you a little background. So, in overall, AT&T currently supports more than 75 million connected cars. All right, we hold more than 80% of the market share in the United States. There is a reason behind it, because we have developed and we are consistently developing our infrastructure in a way that we can serve the automotive customer, for today and for tomorrow. Now, today's car, brings three main capabilities. You can have telematics data.
That's right.
You can have head unit application data, or you can have the Wi-Fi. But this connected car has really transformed into many new verticals, as you indicated. For example, autonomous cars, software-driven cars, shared mobility, electrification, robo-taxis, and I keep naming them,
Right.
All these segments, they have their own unique set of requirements. But there is one thing common, that they need to talk to each other and they need to talk to the infrastructure.
Yes.
And at the same time, the infrastructure needs to talk back, to these vehicles. This is how this connected car industry is changing. And this is going to generate a lot of data.
Yes.
What to do with this, we cannot store this data into our data centers, we really need to take that data at the edge of the network, where in the close proximity of the sensors, the vehicles, and the infrastructure devices. So like IBM brings in their strength, on Gen AI through Watson X, how we can take the insights of data and create some purposeful action and send it back to the vehicles or devices so actions can be taken. So it is really started to shape up, but I tell you, this car of the future is very different than the car of today.
Oh, absolutely.
And I will say there are aspects to that communication and the data from a use case perspective that even go beyond. I mean, you think about troubleshooting. If it's an autonomous vehicle and suddenly one of the tires loses air, there's not a person driving it to say, oh, my PSI is low, let me slow down. The car has to be able to interpret that data, communicate what the next steps actions are. So that's important. And then you could think of the future where real Gen AI analysis, maybe there's a snowstorm that's coming. I live in the mountains of Colorado, it happens often. I will know in advance by looking at the weather, and I'll throw my car in a four-wheel drive knowing that there's going to be a blizzard. Well, that kind of intelligence, that's where you really connect Gen AI with autonomous, and you make it true autonomy.
Great example.
And we bring it down to the real-time level, and you think about the fact that when the car rapidly loses tire pressure, that it can actually talk to the car next to it. And the car next to it knows that the car to its right could you know what I'm saying? Because that's when it gets really unique, is when you start to see it being, V to V, C to V to X, to make sure, and then notifying, for help, because it'll know a crash is going to happen well before it actually happens. Gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun. We've got to get back to MWC here. I'm sure if your calendars look anything like ours, you are jammed wall to wall, but it's been a great conversation. Generative AI, of course, is going to change many industries, and it sounds like it's going to help shape the next era of a very successful IBM and AT&T partnership. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, everybody, hit that subscribe button. Join us here for all of our coverage at MWC 2024, and of course, join us for all of our 6.5 episodes all the time. But for this episode, for Patrick Moorhead and myself, it's time to say goodbye. See y'all later.